The 2017 President's Cup is in the books officially as an 8-point victory for the United States. Michael, I think we can both agree, though, it really wasn't as close as that lopsided score would even indicate. As you look back at the week as a whole, was the U.S. that good, or were the internationals just not good?
It's weird because I was thinking about it in baseball terms. In baseball, two teams are almost always pretty equal. And if one team jumps out to a 4-0 lead in the second inning, you don't really feel like the game is over because eventually talent will weigh out and a pitcher will get off his game. Something will happen. Here, after Thursday morning, it already felt over. And actually, and this is my thought, Ernie Els was basically just telling me the same thing. It was decided early. There was no chance for any momentum. And to your specific question, the internationals were weak 6 on down, and all those points count the same, and everybody plays in President's Cup, unlike Ryder Cup.
They were weaker 6 on down, but I also thought even 6 up, they were all off their game. Hideki Matsuyama, you'd expect a lot from him this week. You think Jason Day, he's played in enough of these that he would bring his best, and even their best players, to me, they just didn't have it those early days, and it was sort of the both worlds colliding. They ran into a buzzsaw, but they also just didn't.
But I think in that sense, there is an emotional component that once you start going down early, you maybe don't really want to be here in the first place. It maybe is hard to get a little bit up for it.
Yeah. So the early dominance set up kind of a strange scene on Sunday where it was more or less a foregone conclusion. What do you remember most about this day?
Well, really, the biggest takeaway for me is the presence of Donald Trump here at this President's Cup. Donald Trump is such a polarizing figure, not just as a politician. We're leaving politics to our friends at other networks, but even within the framework of sports, when we talk about the NBA and the NFL in particular. And then here we see in a golf context, he was really greeted in a completely different way. And our job as reporters is simply convey what it was like, and it was really a love fest for President Trump out here.
President Trump to become the first sitting U.S. president to present the trophy to the winning team.
The other day I was talking to Davis Love, the new Hall of Famer and assistant captain here, and I was trying to identify somebody who might have voted for Hillary Clinton, and I tried out one name with someone who I thought might be liberal leaning, and Davis is like, no. And like, Davis, can you think of anybody? And Davis thought for a while, no, he could not. Wow. He could not name a single PGA Tour player who is likely a supporter for Hillary Clinton. So yeah, he's, as George Bush said a long time ago when he was addressing a white tie crowd, he said, you know, some people call you the elite. I call you my constituency.
It certainly felt like the president was out here with his people today. This was his comfort zone. Let's go back to the teams and spin it forward. So now we have, just a few years ago, we were talking about this gap in talent between the United States golf as a team and Europe, and how would these guys ever win a Ryder Cup? How are they ever going to, turn the tides in that rivalry? Now, to me, it seems like the U.S. enters a road game next fall as a huge favorite in that Ryder Cup.
I don't agree at all,
I don't
Jeff.
think so.
No, I think part of what made this team great is you had very high quality players playing their best golf this year. If a European wins the Masters, if a European wins either of the Opens, which often happens, why shouldn't they come in feeling great about their chances?
Oh, I think they should feel great, but I just think the betting houses or the consensus will be that the United States will enter favored. I would fully expect Europe to circle the wagons and maybe embrace the role of underdog and want to be considered the underdog in a home game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that does to that team. It's a different dimension to the rivalry than we've had these last couple, really 20 years now.
I don't think in the end it really is that circle the wagon quality or even what the captains do so much. I think it's really just the aggregate of talent. I know I've talked about this before, but that's what these team competitions do, and that's why they're so interesting. But really the aggregate of these 12 players today, the U.S. team was far superior in terms of what they were doing this year on the golf course than the international equivalents. And in European golf, it is hard to imagine there ever being much of a discrepancy between the two.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll let the people decide who's favored in the next Ryder Cup. We've got a year to figure that one out. For Michael, I am Jeff. Thanks for watching. That's it from the President's Cup.